a nuclear-powered car, a ray gun. He's awesome. He's strong. This champion of justice. Yeah, a lot is gonna happen in this video. Greetings, comic lovers, and welcome back to Casually Comics, the channel where we chat all things comics, from reviews of comics new and old, to history, to anecdotes, really wherever our whims take us. Manga, a huge industry in its own right. It also enjoys a large part of the cultural landscape here in North America. I have manga right here. Alongside the comics that I own, there's much manga sprinkled around. Its cultural cachet has grown over time, and as that has happened, so has an overall interest in Japanese culture, and in experiencing it authentically, at least in some quarters. The days of calling things donuts is behind us, hopefully.
Have a donut. That always cheers me up. Pika pika!
These donuts are great!
Comics and manga can and have been placed in opposition to each other, but you can also just enjoy both, or all the things. Of course, you can also like one more than the other. You can do what you want. What is fascinating is when the two worlds collide, when they merge. So you can have DC and Marvel manga. Yes, we're gonna talk about Lord Deathman in this video. Eventually, there's gonna be a lot of things you're gonna get and experience. However, more recently you have things like One Operation Joker, where the Joker needs to raise a baby Batman. I can't wait. Just show interest that comes over here. Yes, of course, there are fan translations, but it's not the same. And I can't just put it on my shelf to confound people. You also have things like Superman vs. Meshi, which is basically Superman flying around and eating at different Japanese restaurants. Because as we established in a previous video that we did recently about Superman's pocket when he had a pretzel in there, he loves food. I too love food, which is why I'm happy to announce today's sponsor. I'm partnered up with Bokksu, the Japanese snack box. They are a snack box subscription service so that you can enjoy authentic Japanese snacks all year round, a box a month, and they are from Japan. And they ship fast, let me tell you. When they tell you it's coming, it's coming. This box is great if you're a person who loves to try various snacks, obviously, but also if you're interested in learning about them. The box comes with cultural guides and info on the snacks. The website even has documentaries you can watch by the artisans, because they also list the makers in here, and some of these people have been making snacks and desserts for a long time. In some cases, we're talking over a century. So it's really interesting to learn the history of them and then also see them being made. So it can be a very immersive process. You can get more than just snacks to eat. First time buyers get the Seasons of Japan box, so you get an overview of the different kind of snacks and celebrations in Japan throughout the year. It details everything in the booklet. In general, each month, each box has a different theme. This is the Moon box, so you also get a nice box if you're a person like me who keeps the boxes from things that they get to put other things inside. A box inside a box. Now you can preview what you're gonna get inside the box, but I like to be surprised. So let's see what's in there together. Yeah, I'm gonna unbox this box. They suggested that you should have fun with friends, but to that I say, but I'm not alone. You're here with me. We're gonna experience these together, except for the tasting part. That you'll have to do on your own, and if you're interested, I have a code for you down below. Use my code casually10 and use the link down below to get 10% off your own authentic Japanese snack box subscription from Bokksu. Don't miss out on this delicious snack journey through Japan. Personally, when I'm reading comics or manga, I like to have a snack with me, so this is gonna be a really nice accent. Maybe Lord Deathman would have a box like this, potentially. No, maybe he'd get it for Harley Quinn, because Lord Deathman now is infatuated with Harley Quinn, time of recording. That's right, you know you want to hear about that. As mentioned, this is going to be an experience. You're going to get an unboxing, you're going to get some Batmanga history, it's going to be all of it. But now, of course, so I know a lot of you are curious about, what's in the box? Hello, hi, yes, I have a table now. I'm going to take things out of the box on the table, and you can see them. In theory, I may need to zoom you in closer and lose my head, but that's fine because the snacks are more important at this juncture. So there's a variety of snacks in here, as you can see. You have this guidebook and you can go through with the book so you can know what you're looking at. For example, this here is a kabocha pumpkin anpan, and then if you pull up your book at the same time, you will be able to read by oh, this one is made by Bokksu and Hanma, and then you'll see that this delicious anpan is filled with shiroan, white bean paste, and kabocha pumpkin. Pair them with a cup of tea and savor with rich autumnal flavors. Because remember, this is the Seasons box. And then it tells you what the flavor profile is as well. This one's sweet, it tells you it's vegetarian, it tells you the common allergens that are inside of it. I'm gonna bring you in closer, I feel like you're too far. Now you can really see. These are little white strawberries, and then you can go your book and you can see that it is a Bokksu exclusive. It's the world's first chocolate infused strawberry. What you say about that? I need some receipts, but I'm definitely gonna try it. There are also some savory snacks in here, so let me find one of the savory ones. These are savory. These are stick potato super mucho plum. They're potato sticks. They are plum potato sticks. So as you can see, you get a wide array and variety in the box, and you do get a lot to share with people, or you know, you can be one of those people who just Eat it yourself. I don't know. Black sesame. And look at the cute little bear. You can see here. Each of these CD drums is handmade. You also get tea, which is nice of them because they tell you to pair so many of these with tea. So they include tea included. Batteries not included, tea included. You also get this neat map which shows you exactly where in Japan the snacks came from. I'm gonna lay them all out for you. I'm gonna organize them. So as you can see here, you're definitely getting value for your money. You're getting a lot of snacks. This is nothing to sneeze at, and there are a bunch of things you may not have tried before. If you're a manga reader or a food lover like I am, sometimes you just get curious about different snacks. And Bokksu is really passionate and proud to bring these flavors out there to the world, and they really want people to try them. It's fun to participate in somebody else's keen desire to share their culture like that. Sometimes people can confuse things like that with appropriation, but they're very different things. This is about integration, growth, sharing, experiencing joy. Now, love of things, food, entertainment, whatever, can flow in a variety of directions, and such is the case with Batman from the 1960s. It was really big in Japan for a bit. Yes, the show with Adam West and Burt Ward. It was so popular that for a time it had a manga, and people in the West didn't know about it until the 2000s. I'm gonna tell you about it. The Batman manga, or Batmanga as we call it over here, just Batman in Japan. It was created or rather adapted by Jiro Kuwata. This is when the series became popular in Japan, so a Shonen magazine, Shonen King, decided that they wanted to get the rights so that they could produce their own stories. So they licensed it. These are entirely DC sanctioned stories. They stopped publishing them in 1967 after the Batman craze died down, so it was brief. It was a fad, a bat fad. Now, it's not a very long run at all by manga standards. It's only 53 chapters, and they have all since been collected and released, both physically and digitally. This after they were rediscovered. A novelist, Chip Kidd, who was a big Batman fan, learned about them, and in researching them learned that even the head of DC Comics at the time, Paul Levitz, had no idea that these stories had even been published. He then wrote a book called Batmanga, The Secret History of Batman in Japan. It was published in 2008 and detailed this manga as well as the collection of memorabilia of Bat memorabilia in Japan, because you know there was a Batmobile and all that kind of stuff. It was very niche. Some Western collectors knew about it, but not very many. I'm still not sure how widespread the knowledge is. More widespread than it was before, that's for sure. Now, the first 3 chapters of the manga are called Lord Deathmen. And are we gonna take a look at them? Of course we are. This story opens up with Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson at a jewelry show. Some of the translations are a little rough. Of course, why would you put on anything to do with jewelry in Gotham? I don't know. It must be insurance fraud. Wow, it's so gorgeous. You should buy it now, Mr. Wayne. If Bruce bought jewelry for every woman who talked to him, he'd be broke in no time. Oh my, this boy certainly has a mouth on him. Boy, why you old hag? Damn, Japanese Robin goes hard. This is all broken up by Lord Deathman.
I am Lord Deathman.
And he just starts blasting. Lord Deathman does not play. There's a little detail that he's pretending he had henchmen by painting skeletons on black cloth. It's a small detail, but it's interesting. Creative. Batman and Robin need to get to the bottom of the building, which proves difficult as there is no fire escape and the drainage pipe doesn't go all the way down. This gives time for Lord Deathman to pose with his cape. Lord Deathman just wants to run Batman over. Zero chill. But he ends up getting captured and he just laughs in Batman's face. At the world's fastest ever court case, we learn that they can't get the costume off of him.
Now the verdict on Lord Deathman. I sentence you to death.
LDM. As you'll see, he later calls himself, so I'm gonna call him that to save time, says he's already dead. And then he just dies right there in the courtroom, just drops dead. And even though Batman and Robin go to visit the grave site, Batman can't shake the idea that there's something wrong. He's haunted by nightmares. His nightmare wakes up Dick, and Bruce decides that they need a break. They need a vacation. They need to go to Jamaica.
This is more like it. I can forget all about Lord Deathman here.
Gee, another nap, Bruce?
Stop shaming him.
However, over the radio, they hear that Lord Deathman has killed again. Wait a minute, again? I thought he just knocked that first guard out. I mean, he did spray a lot of bullets. I believe it. So Batman and Robin need to leave Jamaica, get back to Gotham, and face Lord Deathman. And he tries to run Batman over again with his car. He's just really committed to trying to hit him with it. But then Batman catches him, and LDM died. Again. Chapter 2. Batman is still haunted by nightmares. Bruce is exhausted, so much so that he starts dozing off at this garden party they've been invited to that's thrown by the same person who was hosting the jewelry auction. I'm pretty sure it was an auction. But he startles awake when he learns about the special guest. They've got somebody who's gonna be buried alive in a box, then dug up an hour later, and he's still gonna be alive. What fun. What party entertainment. The man says he lived because he knows a secret yoga technique, a secret yoga method. And Bruce realizes that has to be it. That's how he's faking his death. But I feel like there was more time in between him faking it and going to the, you know, it doesn't matter. Super good at yoga. Such yoga, much health. To the cemetery! And I love that his headstone says here lies Lord Deathman. And he left a note for Batman. How kind.
Batman, I offer you this coffin as a gift. Signed LDM.
Chapter 3. A nuclear-powered car. A ray gun. He's awesome. He's strong. This champion of justice. When are we gonna see the Bat ray gun? Bat ray gun when? This final chapter is pretty much all fighting all the way through. Also all the henchmen he had hanging around in the graveyard just for this moment. What if Batman had never figured it out? Was he just gonna send them home? Let's go. Now's our chance to annihilate Lord Deathman. With the ray gun? No, by throwing a smoke bomb at the helicopter, the escape helicopter, and then he can't see and he flies into some electrical power cables. And he's electrocuted. A pitiful end, even for Lord Deathman. I don't know if I can handle the intensity of Manga Robin. Batman says he needs to clean his bullet wound. He got grazed. It was only a flesh wound to prepare for next time, but not against Lord Deathman because he's dead. Next issue, Dr. Faceless. Now, one of the interesting things about Lord Deathman in those first 3 chapters is that it's actually an adaptation of a Batman story, Batman 180. This is Deathman's first appearance. That's right, just Deathman. He got promoted in Japan. So he was created by Robert Kanigher and Sheldon Moldoff, and this issue is from 1966. It's really fascinating reading them side by side to see what was changed and what wasn't, and also you can really see a certain impact that I'll highlight in a minute. Now, Death knocks 3 times follows the same structure as Lord Deathman, but this one all happens in one issue. Yet both feel appropriately paced. They both work for the formats that they're in. Deathman has no cape, but there's something very eerie about how his mask is drawn in this though. It's sunken in some panels. Not all though. Sometimes he looks like he picked up his costume at a Spirit Halloween store. This comic features way more women draped around Bruce Wayne, surrounding him at all times, and Robin is still catty to them. This Deathman just barges in, no theatrics, and his henchmen are just there on display.
Live a little. Don't try to follow me through this door.
Staying put and following instructions is living a little? Deathman needs to get out more. The rest is pretty much the same, only the fight is choreographed differently, and there is no dramatic trying to hit Batman with his getaway car. Since your jury unanimously found you guilty, the death penalty is mandatory. What's going on in Gotham? I mean, aside from everything. Deathman once more dies on command. But this time when Bruce hears the news, he's not alone listening to the radio with Robin. He's out, surrounded by babes. You can really see the damage that Wertham's book Seduction of the Innocent did to the North American comic book industry here. Bruce alone with Robin as little as possible. Please don't do it very often, and when you do, if possible, throw a woman in there. Just gratuitous woman. We gotta hammer home that Bruce is straight. He's gotta look super straight. Add more women. Batman is once more haunted by nightmares, and once more he decides that they need to go to Jamaica. But with babes. This must be what they call dry land fishing. No. But then they hear the news and need to leave. But this time there are all these women around, so they're gonna see him leave. I guess they just don't make the connection. The second battle is more dynamic here, and the potential supernatural element is more firmly set up.
Batman's not like me. He's only human. Fill him full of holes and we'll wrap him up like Swiss cheese.
But once more, Batman gets close to Lord Deathman and he just dies. I just called him Lord Deathman. This is just regular Deathman. Once you start saying it, you want to add the Lord all the time. Curtain's going down for good this time. His act is over. And nobody's applauding for encores. Oh yeah? Tell that to Japan. More nightmares than the party. This time the women are actually draped over him. It's a little detail, but in this the party is thrown by somebody different, just another socialite, and I don't know, it was a little detail, but it worked better for me. It made the world feel bigger than by having the party thrown by the same person. But this man who is buried alive says he mastered the ultimate yogi breathing technique, and that's how he appears dead. This again is the light bulb moment, so they rush over to the graveyard. Deathman has more to say. He left a longer note.
Dear Batman, polite. Since you seem to be spending all your spare time in graveyards lately, I'm reserving this underground suite exclusively for you. Deathman!
I like that he put those words in quotes to make extra sure that Batman got the sarcasm. I don't want him to think that I'm actually reserving him space. And then they fight. Now, because the second fight took up more space, there's not as much time for this final fight. So you don't have these elaborate panels or a helicopter chase or Batman being dragged behind a car. Instead, Deathman is ended a different way. When Deathman holds up his gun, he's struck by lightning and electrocuted. They play with this as it's because he was sentenced to death, and so he was going to be electrocuted, and so this is just like his sentence being carried out. This is probably why he was sentenced to death earlier, so that they could get away with killing him on panel and still stay within the lines of the comics code. So ends Deathman, or at least for a time. Deathman would find his way back into Western DC canon post-Crisis and even post-New 52, and he's still around, I think, time of recording. Everybody's around Infinite Frontier. Now, Grant Morrison would be the writer who would give Deathman more of a backstory, but before that he actually appeared briefly in one issue of Superman/Batman. Actually, it was issue 68 by Joe Casey. But in this story, he's not much of a threat. He's actually relegated to opening goon who quickly gets dispatched, and he has a new costume and it's nowhere near as glorious. He's just got a kind of painted face mask, and Batman dispatches him really easily because he knows what his gimmick is. Batman's been to hot yoga too. So Morrison would take this and have Deathman seek to revitalize himself, to find a way to truly be able to revive himself so that he could really die and then come back. This process would see him move to Japan, where he would take on the mantle of Lord Deathman, hence kind of merging the two worlds. He would become a Japanese crime lord, and he would actually lose the flesh on his skull, like Ghost Rider, only not on fire, so not as cool. He would battle Mr. Unknown during the Batman Incorporated era, or at least the era where we were focusing on Batman Incorporated. He would also fight his body double, Jiro, who would become Mr. Unknown after the first was killed by Lord Deathman, whose name seems to be an homage to the author of the Batman manga. Now, post New 52, Lord Deathman would be one of those characters whose history didn't change all that much. However, he would fall into a K, he's around, what do we do with him kind of rut. After a Ra's al Ghul resurrection plot, he would be relegated to love interest for Harley Quinn, or rather someone infatuated with Harley Quinn. It's really one way. One of the facets of the New 52 and onward Harley Quinn series is, at least until the time of this recording, as that one's ongoing, it may buck the trend, but it was to have characters show up and just fall head over heels for Harley. Her shenanigans, irresistible apparently. Lord Deathman falls in love with her after she tries to kill him. He gets obsessed, ends up setting up a shrine, goes full stalker. So she would have these encounters with him that were very Bugs Bunny Roadrunner-esque, because since he had these revitalization powers, they could just do ridiculous things to him on panel and he'd keep crawling back for more. Or did. Again, time of recording. So Lord Deathman, time of recording, has fallen into joke character territory, which I don't know, I feel like he could be more. Maybe? But that's just my opinion. What do you think? Do you like Lord Deathman or Deathman? Or do you feel like he should have stayed in the past? There was no need to bring him forward. You just had enough of villains with skulls for heads? Are you gonna check out the Batmanga? I'm gonna eat cake now, or rather show you the footage of me eating the cake because I already ate it. The end pen is happening. Oh, it's so sealed. I was no fool. I came prepared. I'm not following the rules. I was supposed to have it with tea. It's really nice. I'm so sad I only have one of these. I feel like one of those ASMR channels where I just eat. It's so awkward. How do they do that? Tell me things down below, and while you're down there, please do all the YouTube things. Like, share, comment, subscribe, check out Bokksu, and please, if you're interested, use my code casually10. The link again is down below if you're interested. That's enough for me. Thanks so much for taking some of your time out of your day to spend it discussing comics and watching food be unboxed with me. I always appreciate it, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.